Okay, good afternoon again. My name is Roy Butler. I'm a lieutenant with the Battleground Police Department. We have a media release that today, 9/11/2013, at about 15:30 hours, about 3:30 this afternoon, detectives from the Battleground Police Department conducted an interview of a 13-year-old male student who attends Chief Umtuch School. The suspect is a resident of the unincorporated Battleground area. The suspect was arrested for making the threats. The information was provided to the Battleground Police Department from the FBI and the Vancouver Police Department, which led our detectives to the suspect. The suspect's computer has been seized for further examination. Officers have determined through their investigation that the suspect did not possess the capability or the means to carry out any of the threats that were made. There is no evidence at this time to indicate that there are any other suspects involved or still at large. The suspect has been released to the custody of his parents, who are very cooperative with the investigating detectives. A case file will be completed by the detectives in the next few days, and that case file will then be forwarded to the Clark County Prosecutor's Office for filing of charges of felony harassment. I can't release the suspect's name and identity at this time. That may become available later on after the prosecutor's office has reviewed the case, but at this time I cannot release that information.
Can you tell us what the threats were and who those threats were against?
The threats were against the school, and the threats were against a teacher at the school.
Were they made online?
They were made online.
What was this person threatening to do to the school?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What was this 13-year-old threatening to do to the school and the teacher?
He was threatening to cause physical harm to the school and physical harm to the teacher.
With explosives?
Possibly.
Did it include a specific date mentioned, September 11th?
Today was mentioned specifically.
You said the FBI.
One at a time here.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, did they seem to mention the September 11th terrorist attacks?
No, he did not.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You said today's information about the suspect was forwarded to you guys from the FBI, is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you kind of explain how that all works?
I'd rather not.
Okay. But the arrest was just within the last hour?
About the last hour and a half.
Okay.
Were they able to track this person using, like,
I'd really rather not go into how we got on the information.
But the threats were made online?
Threats were made online.
Okay.
Has he made threats in the past, or has there been a history of troubled behavior at all?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Did this gentleman provide any kind of motive for making the threats?
I'd rather not go into that at this time.
Can you talk about how the suicide threat, the suicide note that was discovered earlier led to this? Was it the same student?
It appears at this time in the investigation, it appears that the first suicide note or email that was sent was the student. And then the second one was a follow-up to the suicide note. It has been determined that the young man is not suicidal.
Was he doing this as a joke, or do you think that he didn't have, you said, the means to carry this out, but was he intending to scare his teacher and his classmates?
I don't know what his intention was. I'm not going to speculate on his intention, but it was not a joke.
Do you know what kind of charges would stem from this? He's a 13-year-old boy. What could the police department feasibly charge him with?
Well, police department, we've arrested him. We don't charge. The prosecutor's office will review the case file, and they will decide on the charges. Our arresting charge would be felony harassment.
13-year-old is an 8th grader?
I think so.
I mean, this incident, or incidents, caused a lot of people a lot of work today and led to thousands of kids not going to school. Do you think this 13-year-old understands the gravity of what he's allegedly done?
That would cause me to speculate again. I'm sure that based on the conversation my detective had with the parents that he understands the gravity now.
Were you there at the arrest?
No, I was not.
You said earlier, you're a dad, you're a grandfather, you don't like to see this kind of stuff happen. What can you say to parents now to put them at ease? Should they be at ease?
Yes. We've determined through our investigation he didn't have the means or the capability. There are no other suspects involved. We have the computer. We'll be doing more research into the computer, more investigation. And as far as we can tell, this will close the matter.
Schools will resume tomorrow. Class will resume tomorrow.
I believe there's a press release going to go out from the school district addressing that here shortly. But to my understanding, the school will resume tomorrow.
You say that threats were made against a teacher and another student. Was it his teacher?
It was a teacher and the school.
And the school. Was it his teacher, his 8th grade teacher, who he was making threats against?
I don't know the relationship between that. If it was his teacher, or if they have more than one teacher, I just don't know that information.
Who are these emails sent to?
To the school district.
School district office, principal?
It's a website that they have that they have available for kids who have issues or problems, and they can log on to this website and they can get peer reviews and things like that. And so that's where the emails were sent.
So it's it sounds like it's designed for someone who might seriously be considering suicide to maybe send a note and get some help, and this person used it for...
That's the Dear Amicus website?
Yes, that is correct.
What's it like for you personally? Like a big sigh of relief after what went on the last, gosh, I don't even know, 12 hours plus?
Well, we're just very happy that we were able to resolve the case, that we were able to get the person who made the threats into custody, and that there was no means or capability to carry it out, and that there's no suspects at large, and that we can resume doing our normal activities with a fairly good degree of certainty that there are no problems.
Well, why did you guys decide to let him go home with his parents?
It's a process. He's a 13-year-old who's obviously having some problems, and generally in our county, unless there's some aggravating circumstances or a serious crime of violence, we don't normally take juveniles that young into custody as a rule.
Do you know if he made any threats? I know you said he made threats against the school, but did he make any threats to any other specific students at all?
No other threats to any students that I'm aware of, no.
And you can't say whether or not he has a background or any sort of history of doing these sorts of things, any disciplinary background?
I don't know that. I just don't know. Okay?
We know his history in here. I mean, not like background, but I mean, did they just move here and lifelong resident? Don't know.
I don't have any information on that. The investigation's not complete. This all broke within the last 90 minutes. So.
Lieutenant, will you guys still be having an increased police presence when kids do return to school?
No, we're confident that everything's under control now, so our SRO, our school resource officer, will be at the school tomorrow at Chief Umtuch, but we won't be doing anything beyond that. And that's mainly just to reassure the kids that are showing up that everything's okay. I'm getting a lot of blank looks, so I guess we're done.